Hey everyone, I'm Kelsey Howe.
I'm Joanna Anderson.
And I'm Amy Warren.
And we are research assistants with the Right Whale research team at the New England Aquarium. And between the three of us, we have been a part of 37 field seasons studying North Atlantic right whales all up and down the East Coast in various habitats from a variety of platforms. Part of our work with this team is conducting boat-based right whale surveys in the Bay of Fundy, Gulf of St. Lawrence, Roseway Basin, and Cape Cod Bay. Some of these surveys are single-day trips where we base from land, while some are week-long offshore surveys where we actually live on the boat. Our team has been doing surveys since the inception of this program. For example, Bay of Fundy surveys have been going nonstop for the last 40 years. Since this is such an important part of what we do, we wanted to take you along for a virtual ride with us on our research vessel to give you all an idea of what a day at sea with our field team might look like.
So it takes months to prepare for a field season. Everything from permitting to shopping for food. But we'll let you skip all that and jump right to our 5 a.m. wake-up call. As soon as the final weather call has been made and we hear that we're good to go, we jump into action. All of our gear, cameras, float coats, and lots of food gets packed up and loaded onto the boat as the sun rises. Once everyone and everything is on the boat, we push off from the dock and our survey officially begins. As we make our way out, everyone's applying their sunscreen, setting up equipment, and adding some extra layers. Even in the summer, it can be surprisingly cold on the water.
Kelsey, what are you doing?
I'm just starting out our paper data for the day. So we left the dock at about 6:25. These are the initials of our crew for the day. And as we go along, we can take data notes to correspond with our computer data.
Amy, what are you working on?
I am turning on the GTAC, which is our computer that records our data all day long.
Once all the equipment is set up and we've decided where we think our best chance of finding whales is, we take our positions in the survey rotation.
But today we're going to cover some different territory and go across sort of the top of where those survey tracks were and cover up here by the wolves, which last year we had sightings up in that area, right whale sightings, so we want to check that out and see what we find.
We always have 2 observers on the bow looking off to the port and starboard side for any signs of life, a recorder who jots down all sorts of information onto a laptop and our paper data, and of course our boat driver. Any additional crew members are considered to be in the rest position. These positions rotate every hour, so every member of our team is quite capable of doing every task on board.
While our main goal is right whales, we document all sorts of species as we motor along, such as other whale species, seals, molas, sharks, turtles, dolphins, as well as other vessels and fishing gear. The data recorder is constantly recording any changes in weather conditions, sea state, and entering all of our sightings that the observers see. Communicating sightings to the data recorder can be tough on a loud vessel, so we often use hand signals to communicate our sightings or walkie-talkies on larger vessels.
As we are surveying along, if we spot a V-shaped blow or something that looks like a right whale, then we will break from our track line and our team leaps into action. Our bow observers become photographers, a designated person becomes the whale watcher, who keeps track of which whales we photographed. The data recorder is writing down information about the sighting, and if we have a spare person, they can help to collect video or whale poop, if it appears. As we photograph, we try to focus on the callosity patterns on the head and any scars that help us identify the whales, so that we can match individuals back to the catalog. But we also take photos of the entire body, which helps us with health assessments.
Second. And we have a whale here who is gunshotted.
Gunshot!
Hey, Allison, please duck down for a second. Sorry. Allison, you want a picture? Yes, I do. Here.
Gunshot!
This is Calvin and her calf in Roseway Basin.
belly.
In addition to all of that, we try to collect biological samples when we can, such as skin and blubber for genetics. These genetic samples are so important to understanding this population. For example, they can allow us to determine sex and link unidentified whales to their mother. To collect this sample, we use a modified crossbow with a specifically crafted arrow. Since the population is so small and relatively well studied, 82% of cataloged whales have already been darted. So we work hard to identify the individuals in real time to avoid biopsying a whale multiple times.
Woo! Arrows coming!
Poop, however, we can collect as much as we want. Why do we want whale poop? Well, our colleagues at the aquarium are able to extract hormones from fecal matter, which tells us loads of interesting things about a whale's life history, such as pregnancy and extreme stress. Unfortunately, it can be hard to come by, but when we do smell it or see it at the surface near a whale, we go scoop it up with a special net and transfer it into plastic containers.
Once we feel confident that we've documented all of the whales in the area, we head back to pick up our track line where we left off, and the process is reset. Some days we see just a few right whales, while other days we could see dozens. We do this all day long as the weather and daylight allow, so we are usually returning to the dock around sunset, but our day is far from over when we hit the dock. We still have to unload the boat, clean the equipment, upload photos, and tidy up the data. Not to mention, we may be heading back out on the water the next day if the weather looks good, to do it all over again.
If we don't see many right whales or other species, we can cover a lot of survey ground in one day. Whereas if we were constantly surrounded by whales, we don't get very far. So every day is delightfully different, and you never know what you might see out there. Even though the days can be really long, and we all return home a little sunburned, windburned, boat bruised, and tired, this is truly our favorite part of the job. There's nothing quite like being out in the water, surrounded by the elements, and researching one of the largest and most endangered animals on the planet.